Hello everyone, I'm Toad Knight, and today we're diving into Raidou Remastered, the Soulless Army. This cult classic got a modern release. So let's talk about it, and how it holds up, how it plays, and whether it's worth your time in 2025. It was originally released on PS2 in 2006. It was a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, set in an alternative 1930s Tokyo. First and foremost, let me clear this up because I know it's on a lot of JRPG fans' minds. This game features action combat. I know many JRPG fans prefer turn-based systems, but if you're planning to pick this up, just know what you're getting into. So far, I haven't found the difficulty overwhelming. I've avoided grinding and mostly just fought enemies as I encountered them, and I've only had a few deaths during boss fights. Nothing felt unfair, just a few mistakes for myself here and there. Overall, the difficulty of this game seems very average, not too easy, and not too hard. The boss fights are going to be the most challenging part of this game, which is great because that's how games should be. The good news is if you die during a boss fight, you can just restart the boss fight. There's no backtracking, there's no loading your last save, or anything like that. Which goes to show how many modern adjustments this game has truly made. Thank you, Atlus. Speaking of which, almost everyone who picked up this game probably knows Atlus. This is definitely one of their more out there titles. It's a little odd that this is the game that they chose to remaster, but I'm not complaining. The story, the gameplay, and the characters all have been surprisingly strong. I had never even heard of this game until 2025, so I'm going in completely fresh. There has been a major visual upgrade from the original. Textures are cleaner and high res, but where the remaster really shines is in the lighting. While the models remain low poly, the lighting gives it a modern noir feel that hides its age and gives the game a unique look. I didn't play the original, but from my experience with PS2 era games, I can confidently say that the controls feel much smoother now. That era had a lot of janky movement and awkward combat mechanics, and here it feels like it's been streamlined just enough to make the game playable without losing its retro identity. Because the game is relatively low poly and relies heavily on lighting tricks, load times are practically non-existent. It's extremely well optimized. At least for my rig, and I do not have a good gaming PC. They didn't overhaul everything like Final Fantasy VII Remake, but they did enough to modernize it while preserving the original vibe. Honestly, I like this more than the way they did with Final Fantasy VII. It feels like the same 2006 game, just upgraded. I kinda hated them changing the story of Final Fantasy VII because, man, that Sephiroth scene was so good in the original, and you just don't get that impact as you did in the remake. As for gameplay, initially, the controls felt a little clunky, especially coming off a faster-paced game like Ys X Nordic, which I've been playing in my free time. But after a few hours of playing, the stiffness started to fade, and once I got used to the system, it felt much more fluid. As a longtime Final Fantasy XIV player, I appreciated how the game used trigger inputs to access extra abilities. More games should borrow this. It's a smart system for action RPGs with multiple skills and spells. Basically, you hit one of the triggers, R2 or L2, and it switches your UI HUD so you can use different spells while in combat. It's a simple system, but smart. The demon recruitment in this game is incredibly simple. If you're higher level than a demon, then you can just capture it. If you're lower level, you're likely to fail. That's it. Fusion works like it does in the other SMT games. Combine two demons to make a stronger one. It's clean and it's simple. I like it. I enjoy it. Everyone can kind of figure out this system on the fly, just like looking at it. You give yourself a minute to kind of think it over and you understand how the system works. It's a pretty easy fusion system. Great for newcomers to the series if you are overwhelmed by any like Persona or Shin Megami Tensei 5's fusion system, or even Soul Hacker's fusion system in that. I think they had one. It's been a little while since I played that. Where I think players might struggle with this game is the combat pacing. It feels very much like a PS2 era game, which was clearly intentional, by the way. The hitboxes are hard to read, and dodging isn't always reliable. The camera can also be a bit of a pain during fights, but once you adapt, it clicks. I found that dodging behind enemies and attacking from the back was far more effective than trying to perfect dodge every single hit. Pro tip, this game is not about flashy, perfect dodges. It's about knowing positioning and enemy patterns. Once I realized that, things got much easier. Honestly, just dodge behind every enemy you fight and you'll be fine. Now let's talk about the demon partner system, which is where the combat really shines. You can fight alongside two demons. You don't control them directly, but they act automatically in battle. You customize their skills through fusion and items. It's like Pokemon meets Auto Battler, and I love it. Even though you can't micromanage their every move, if you give them the spells and abilities, they actually do a really good job at managing healing you and healing the team, while also doing damage to the enemy bosses and striking weak points. Their AI is actually pretty advanced in this, from what I can tell already. As for the story, I can't say too much without spoiling anything, but here's the setup. You're a demon summoner working as a private detective. One night, you get a call from a woman asking for help. When you arrive, she gets kidnapped by mysterious men dressed in red, and that's when the mystery begins. This is a slow burn detective noir story. Expect quiet moments, slow pacing, and carefully unfolding mystery. It's not an explosion-filled thrill ride, it's more like a fine wine. You sip it and you enjoy it subtly. Raidou himself doesn't really speak, but the supporting characters are the real stars. From Act 1 alone, Gaoto and Shohei are already stealing the show. Their interactions are golden, especially at the end of Act 1. I really liked how they talk to each other. Even the villain in the game, who hasn't had much screen time yet, has me intrigued. I think I recognize his accent. The setting is 1930s Japan, during the rise of industrialism. It feels completely foreign to me, and I mean that in the best way. I have no idea what this is going to be like. The only thing that pops in my mind is Kabaneri and the Iron Fortress. All of the other anime and Japanese media I've seen has always been from the Edo period where there's swords and samurais, but not the period where guns started getting into the picture. There are multiple factions involved in the story. The military, devil summoners, and demons. Probably some more as I get further into the story. Again, I only just passed Act 1 into Act 2. But for what I like about it is it's steeped in a weird cultural moment that I don't usually see in games or media. And I can't wait to explore more of that. It seems like other countries are going to be involved just based on some of the accents I heard in the game. This game definitely feels like a Persona game meets Detective Conan meets Devil Summoner. It's weird and cool in the best ways possible. Is it worth picking up though? If you're a fan of SMT or obscure JRPGs, this game is absolutely worth it. I also recommend it to fans of games like Danganronpa. If you're into that dark, stylish vibe, you'll feel right at home. That said, this is not a newcomer-friendly game. If you're new to the SMT franchise, I highly recommend starting with Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, Persona 3 Reload, or Persona 5 instead. At $50, the price does feel right, especially in a world where $70 has become the new standard. I'm very glad it's not $70. $50 is okay. If you're unsure, wait for a sale around $40. That feels like the sweet spot. I'm kind of stingy myself, so honestly, if I didn't want to play it on release day, I'd probably go to $40 or $35, but that's just me, and that's how I feel for all games. I'm very glad they priced this one at $50 though. Also, this isn't sponsored, but I recommend checking out Gamefly or other rental services if you're poor like me, because it's such a good service for so cheap. I think it's like $12 for a monthly membership, and you just get this game. Now, it does come 3 days after a game releases, which doesn't work for someone trying to start a YouTube channel, but I do get all my backlog games from Gamefly. I am not going to pay $30 when I could just get it from Gamefly. I highly recommend it, especially if you are into playing a lot of different games per year. It's a great way to try niche titles like this without breaking the bank. If this is your intro into SMT, you might bounce off the dated mechanics, but if you stick with it, it does reward you. This seems like the story is shaping up to be very, very good. Raidou Remastered is a strange, charming relic polished up for the new generation. It won't be for everyone, but if it's your kind of weird, you're going to absolutely love it. Looking at you, SMT and Danganronpa players. Let me know in the comments, are you playing Raidou Remastered? Was this your first time, or are you a returning fan? Don't forget to like and sub, that actually helps my channel out a lot. Since I'm a newer channel in the JRPG world, I'd like to do deep dives here and JRPG impressions. I'm also starting to live stream games when they come out. I'll probably be live streaming more Raidou later on this week. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.